Well, good evening, everyone. Thanks so much for coming out, and thanks for the desserts. A nice attraction to bring people out. So we're going to get our meeting started. We obviously have a quorum, so again, we appreciate you coming out. Just as a reminder, I am a rookie as a chair, so you all need to go easy on me this evening. I find that with most every meeting there's a bit of formality, and you'll see a bit of that here this evening. In part, that's part of my personality, but also we want to be able to touch base on the different matters of business that we need to this evening. But I also want to be respectful of the time that we have allotted for each of the pieces of business. So that'll be a bit of formality in this evening, but I want to have flexibility as well. So if there's some questions that you have as we're going throughout the evening, feel free to ask about that. A reminder that under our new bylaws, we now have 2 meetings a year. So I've already cut down the meeting time in half. An overview from this for this evening. As a reminder, it went out in the agenda there 2 or 3 weeks ago. But we're going to start off with the 2023 ministry overview. And then we're going to have a break, have some fun with the Family Feud. And then the last portion of our meeting will be taking a look at the 2024 ministry year-to-date. So that's a brief overview of the meeting. I'm going to open us in prayer, and then I'll ask Brian if he would come and lead us in the devotion. So let's open in prayer. Father, thank you for this evening, that you call us into relationship with you. You desire us each individually to have a relationship with you, and that you call us together as a KBC church family. So thank you for the community that you call us into. Help us to continue to be wise in the direction that you would have our ministries to take here at KBC, your ministries to take here at KBC. We ask for your blessing on this evening. Ask that you would lead us in our discussions and touching base on the matters of business that you would have us to ponder on and to discuss. So we thank you for that and ask for your continued blessings. In Christ's name, amen.
All right, well, good evening, and who would have thought that desserts would bring out the masses? Hope you enjoyed. It was a good experience, and I think we'll go on for our second business meeting of the year, not in the spring, but we'll follow up one in September, so we're looking forward to that. Today I really want to talk about the idea of complaining. Now I know it's a business meeting, and I know complaining sometimes goes hand in hand with business meetings, but I want to talk along the lines of how God handles complaining in some ways, but not really dig too deep into it so that we find ourselves in a complaint mode tonight. Nehemiah chapter 9, verse 19 says these words: "Because of your great compassion, you did not abandon them in the desert. By day the pillar of cloud did not cease to guide them on their path, nor the pillar of fire by night to shine on the way they were to take. You gave your good spirit to instruct them. You did not withhold your manna from their mouths, and you gave them water for their thirst. For 40 years you," this is where I start needing glasses. Sorry. "For 40 years you sustained them in the desert. They lacked nothing. Their clothes did not wear out, nor did their feet become swollen." This is a group of people who had just left Egypt. These are Israelites now 40 years in a wilderness of wondering what's next. I don't know about you, but I sometimes struggle with 4 hours, 4 days, 4 weeks, wondering what's next. We are impatient, but at the same time, God is patient. And in the midst of their impatience, God did something miraculous, which includes their clothes didn't wear out. For me, recycling clothes becomes a habit, and so newness is something I always look forward to. That's part of the impatience. Exodus chapter 16, verse 1. This is the whole Israelite community set out from Elim and came to the desert of Sin, which is between Elim and Sinai. On the 15th day of the second month, after they had come out of Egypt, 15 days again, in the desert, the whole community grumbled. Sounds more like it. Sounds like who I am. 15 days of waiting. Again, against Moses and Aaron, the Israelites said to them, "If only we had died by the Lord's hand in Egypt. There we sat around pots of meat and ate all the food we wanted, but you have brought us out into this desert to starve this entire assembly to death." Then the Lord said to Moses, again, how God handles complaining, "I will rain down bread from heaven for you. The people are to go out each day and gather enough for that day. In this way, I will test them and see whether they will follow my instructions. On the 6th day, they are to prepare what they bring in, and that is to be twice as much as they gather on the other day." Here, the Israelites, 15 days into a journey of 40 years in a way, are already complaining. God handles their complaint in a twofold manner. Our human instinct and default is towards sin and grumbling and complaining. God's default is to continue to serve his people. So we come to gatherings like this and we have one of two choices. We can default to the human instinct of sin and grumbling and complaining, or we can go with a second, to follow what God desires and celebrate. General meetings like this one are designed to draw both emotions out. We are supposed to get to a place where we do fight the urge to complain in some matters, but the complaint almost sometimes leads just to a settling of emotions to bring unity. But sometimes you look back and can say there are times when complaining did help. And there are also times and things we can do to see God's hand at work beyond the complaining. What I appreciate about God in this story is that he hears the complaints in verse 4, gives them manna, and then asks them to follow my instructions. So our role is this, to follow his instructions. And we know Jesus' instructions well. The instructions in Mark chapter 12 are this. Mark chapter 12, verse 30. Love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind and with all your strength. The second is this, love your neighbor as yourself. There is no commandment greater than these. So decisions are made based on loving God and loving neighbor. As a church, I believe that that's one of the most important things, or the most important thing we can do. Make decisions based on loving God and loving neighbor. That settles the complaint, because it's not about us. So we can complain all we want about what God is doing. He is still going to provide. But I would rather look forward to what he is going to do when I choose to love God and love neighbor. So in this meeting, I pray that we have fun, that maybe if we do voice our disconcern or concern, God will still provide. And that's the way he works and always has. God does deal with complaints by being God. Thanks, Jamie. Let's do this meeting without complaining.
Oh, all right. Thanks, Brian. The first matter of business, I guess, per se, is the minutes from our last general meeting, which was on December the 4th of last year. Those were sent out maybe more than once, but at least they were sent out last Monday. And we'll have a motion moving to accept the minutes of KBC quarterly business meeting of December the 4th, 2023 as presented. Could I have somebody move that motion for me? Shirley, thanks. And need a seconder for that. Jim? So are there any questions or any discussions about the minutes from our last meeting? And if not, I'll ask all in favor of accepting the minutes of our last meeting, say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. Motion carried. Thank you for that. We're going to move into the 2023 annual report. And I want to start off first by giving a special thank you to all of those that wrote the individual reports. And very special thanks to Heather that followed up for those reports and then amalgamated them and then distributed them to us. So very much appreciated. I'll pause or take a sidestep to say that one of the key verses for me over the last couple of years is Philippians 4 verses 6 and 7, and actually 8 and 9 as well, but 6 and 7 for this evening, where it says, "Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus." And for me, that's been a powerful verse, and there's probably 3 or 4 sermons just on those 2 verses alone. But what I want to zero in for this evening, which I think is relevant for us this evening, is the with thanksgiving part. If you're like me, I'm always ready in my prayer request for the next thing that I want from God, and I skip over the with thanksgiving part. Our 2023 annual report is a historical document, and I mean, it could be an interesting read in 10 years' time, but it is so much more than a historical document. And for tonight, I want us to look at it with that with thanksgiving part. God has blessed us truly this past year. And when I thought over the last 10 years of where he has brought us to where we are now, to where we were, in the anticipation of where he'll take us over the next coming years, that with thanksgiving part just jumped out at me so much in those verses. So that's how I'm looking at our 2023 annual report this evening. So part of that report are reports from our pastors. And if Brian is still around, I'll ask him just to give us a brief verbal update of Ministries 2023 that he'd like to highlight for us.
Yeah, as I wrote the annual report, my memory sometimes is not great, not long-term. But what I appreciate is it's been 9 years now that I've been at KBC. And when I first arrived here, one of the things I would say about KBC is that we had a shotgun approach to ministry. We really tried to hit everything and achieve. Sometimes we did achieve some things, but our laser focus wasn't always there. What I appreciate now, and you've seen with the conversation with the last few sermon series, or sermons, the last 3 weeks particularly, and this week coming up with Kristen, she's going to be speaking about connecting, and again, next gen, missions, and worship. These are 4 key values for our church. It allows us to be laser focused on the things that we accomplish. For me, as the senior pastor, I'm the senior pastor of missions and worship. Those are my 2 key focus areas. Kristen's is next gen and connecting. So with those in mind, we have a laser focus now. So I'm writing the annual report and going, how did we make out in these areas? So you have the report. I just wonder if you have any questions to that concern or to that thought. But again, with missions and worship, the values are set. And what I'm excited about is that as we are laser focused, we do not become distracted by other things. So we continue to improve on that. That's one of the things that I have set my sights on, is making sure that we do worship well and we do missions really well too. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask. But that's my report for 2023.
Anyone have any questions for Brian? Thank you, Brian. And I think I saw Kristen earlier. There she is. And we'll ask Kristen if she can give us an update as well.
Yeah. So first, I just want to say thank you to everybody for just being awesome and so supportive of myself and my family this year. And I will add that I am still technically on vacation, but I ask so much of you as KBCers to step off your time and give your time to make these ministries happen, that I felt that it was my need to be here tonight as a KBCer to give my time of vacation. And so that's why I'm here tonight, or else I wouldn't have been. But I just want to say thank you to everybody for serving, for praying, for being here for hours every week or month, or however you serve. Just thank you for taking your time to pour into the next gen, to pour into each other as a family. And yeah, so I guess as Brian said, my two areas are next gen and connecting. And so this year, we had a great next gen year. I mean, KBC was able to host Title Impact, which is a phenomenal event, and I'm really excited for the next one. But thank you, KBC, for willingly opening our doors to have 300 students here worshiping Jesus, loving the greater St. John area. It was an amazing week, and the students' growth has been fantastic. And because of Title Impact and the rental that we had here, we were able to rebrand KBC Kids with a new logo and some changes downstairs in the fellowship hall, and more to come as well. So because of that ministry, we were able to pour in more into our kids ministry. And we just had a successful summer and soccer season as well. Handed out quite a few Bibles this year. Most of the teenagers ones stay here, but the kids get to take theirs home and read them at home. And then connecting is it's always been that other part of my job I'm still trying to figure out, I'm still trying to wrestle with, and how we get KBC connected more. And obviously there's going to be more of that in 2024, which I'm really excited about for what the discipleship team and what the first impressions team and all that is going to come, but that's in my other report. But just little steps this year in the connecting points area. But I just, again, want to say thank you for your love and support this year with me and my family. That's all I have.
Thank you so much, Kristen. Any questions for Kristen on 2023 ministry? We appreciate both of you so much, so thank you both to Brian and Kristen. Finance for 2023. I think Bobby is away this evening, but Doug, if you could wear both hats. And you've given the information for us, but if there's a brief verbal update, anything that you needed us to highlight, and the floor is yours.
Yes, well, do you have to turn this on, or you just pick it up? Please go ahead, tell me how to do it. I have a green light.
Yeah, sorry.
Bobby is indeed away, but she's home. She spent the day at the hospital. They were doing some tests and everything, and they've concluded she had muscle spasms or something, but the strict orders were stay home, not just tonight, but for the next few days. So I'm sure she would appreciate your prayers. So all the information for 2023 related to our receipts, our expenses, our financial picture, and all that stuff have gone out. There is one change from what I sent out and what you would have gotten from Bobby on the income statement a few days ago. It's a $2,000 difference on the revenue side. So instead of a $19,000, instead of a $19,000 and some odd dollar surplus, it's a $17,000 and some odd numbers surplus. The reason for that is that revenue from one of our share, whoever looks after the electronic giving, there was some revenue, $2,000, that was ours. but they were lazy, and they didn't send it until about 8 or 10 days into the new year. Therefore, it had to come out of 2023 and go to 2024. So our surplus for the year was 17,000 and some odd dollars. Okay? We all understand that? The business of what is called, or was called, the internal, the word audit was in the bylaws, but it's an internal review where a couple of folks from the congregation agree to go to Bobby's office, pull out a bunch of invoices, ask for check stubs and all that stuff to make sure that the invoice got paid and it went to the right place and all that stuff. So it's an internal look at Bobby's accounting. She passed that test. A copy, it's a 3-page report. It's required to be received by finance, submitted to the board of directors. That's been done. And Bobby's required to send a copy of it to the external review accounting firm. And that's been done. Bobby is now waiting on the final report signed off on by Curry and Betts for our financial position for 2023. She has not received that as yet. She did get a draft last Wednesday, but she said really it's not a good idea to send it out to the membership because she said I'm having a hard time understanding what they're trying to tell us. So they have promised us in the very, very near future that we will have the signed off external accountant's review of our finances, which will then be made available to the congregation through whatever format you might want, email, hard copy from the office, whatever. Okay? Got that? You can live with that? Good. Any questions?
Any questions for Doug regarding our 2023 finances?
Looking at the budget versus the actual, further, and obviously we've got a surplus in the actual money, $17,000 actual. Were there things that, was there a reason why, or things that we didn't do that because we thought we were gonna meet the budget? So, or was there anything like a major something that we said, no, we're not doing that, like missions or things that we didn't do? But we got a $17,000 surplus, and yet we didn't spend, we didn't do that, we didn't spend that on the budget. So like obviously, things that we were planning on doing, $17,000 worth didn't get done.
So I'll just give a brief recap in case there's people online that are listening that didn't hear the question. So I think the question is, we've got a $17,000 surplus, but our givings was under our original budget. So what did we do expense-wise so that we ended up in a positive position? There must be expenses that we did not incur. Is that anything major that you can think of, Doug, as to what I know that there was excellent expense control management throughout the whole year, as there is this year, but anything you can think of that we didn't spend that we had forecasted?
Nay.
I think it was just the ongoing control. All of the different boards and committees were careful with their spending, mindful that the income.
There wasn't a ministry or something that said, oh, we can't do that ministry because of it. So that's all I was wondering.
No. One of the things that has not been budgeted yet is, I think the Board of Finance understands that down the road, because there's been discussion about this for a couple of years, is that we'll probably soon arrive at the point of needing a, and what do we call them, worship leaders? Worship minister or whatever. And we are also concerned about a replacement for Bobby when she decides not to continue. That might in fact become a position that requires part-time income for somebody. However, up until the end of November last fall, I will tell you this. I personally laid awake some mornings, 3, 2 in the morning, worrying about what was going to happen at our year end, because we had a huge red number. But in the latter part of November and the month of December, there were a whole stack of angels that showed up with pocketbooks. And they gave generously to this congregation to the tune of $70-some thousand in the month of December alone. That's why you have the $17,000 surplus. So we had 419,000, I think, revenue last year. That's high. In the last 10 years, we've only had 3 years where we've had revenue over 400,000. So answered that question? And compliments, as Jamie has said, to every single committee, group, whatever, responsible for accomplishing ministry through a budget. They're marvelous people. Marvelous people, and this congregation owes to them a great deal of
So
praise.
I agree. Expense management is key, and I think a strength that we've had at KBC for quite a period of time. But I thank you to all for your financial stewardship. You can expense manage to the nth degree, but if we're not faithful in our financial stewardship, ministries couldn't occur. So thank you, Doug, for...
I have one final question for you folks, though. How many of you get the Tuesday updates? How many of you open it? How many of you open the fireside chat? I will continue to do the fireside chat. Here's what that fireside chat is. How many of you are still working? How many of you are retired and still getting money from somebody? Okay? When you get a paycheck, most people look at the pay stub, right? To check out if they've been paid according to whatever their hourly rate is, salary rate is. Did the promised raise come through? Was there a bonus promised and I got that? You look at that pay stub and you compare it to what the money was given to you. You look at the deductions and you shudder to see how many dollars are taken by other people. What that fireside chat is intended to be.
Use your microphone.
What that fireside chat is intended to be is the pay stub for KBC Inc. on a monthly basis. Shows you what came in, what went out, and there's some ratios in there that are, what do you call them? Markers for you to tell if we're in range of what the average is. So that's what that is. It's been formatted in such a fashion that I only have to put 4 or 5 numbers in, and the rest of it all kicks out automatically. So it only takes about an hour to put it together and then walk away from it and then come back. Oh, I'm sorry. and walk away from it and then come back and look at it. I try to look at it from your point of view. Is it information that makes sense? So that will continue to come on a monthly basis. Okay?
Thank you, Doug. No, just set it down. Just set it down. And so my understanding of Robert's rules is that there are no motions nor a vote to adopt the reports are required. So thank you again. The report has been received and placed on file. So now we're going to have some fun, and we'll have Brian kick it off for us. Not that thus far hasn't been fun.
Yeah. So we felt, as we have two different business meetings in one, we thought there'd be no better way to split it up than to introduce you to our deacons and directors for 2024. And no better way to do that than with, go ahead and hit it, Kristen. Oh, she's slow on the gun. Oh, hit on me PC. Oh, yeah, we got to. There we go. Now I'm not as exciting as those on TV, but I do have a chance to bring up Team Creelman and the Deacons. So David, come on up. Marilyn, come on down. Marilyn Kierstead, I need you up here. Marilyn, Nadine, come on up. Nadine, we have one more. And Brock, come on up. Brock, Marilyn, you got to come on up. And representing the directors, Team Flower. Team Flower, we got Jamie Flower. Come on, Jamie Flower. Who else we got? We've got, I have the list here. Who else is here? We got Karen. Karen's coming up. And we got Doug coming up. And we got Clark coming up. Clark, come on down. And we have one more. Who else is missing? Come on up, Karen. And Bailey. Bailey, come on up. And as a representative of Team Deacons, we have our eternal deacon, Jim Bishop. Come on down, Jim Bishop. You're going to represent Team Deacons. Come on, Jim. All right. Now we sampled this on Sunday. We'll give it a shot a little bit more. So we've got our squeaker buttons. Yeah. And we got some microphones here. Are these microphones still unmuted? All right, good. All right. There's one. All right. Okay, we can stop with the music, Kristen. All right. All right, so a little bit different from on Sunday, but today we got our first question. So David, Jamie, you guys are facing off against each other. All right, go ahead, press start. All right, so once the person buzzes in, they come up with a top 100 answer to name something you'd put on a hamburger. Jamie.
Ketchup.
Ketchup. Is ketchup the number one answer? So go ahead and hit click. Yeah, good answer, Jamie. Is ketchup? Oh, ketchup is number. So Team Flower gets to go with it. So we're going to pass it down to Karen. Karen, you get the microphone. Okay. Karen. So of 100 people asked, I think Spotify's still playing. Yeah. Of 100 people questioned, what do people love putting on a hamburger?
Cheese.
Cheese. Good answer. Cheese. Is cheese up on the board? Yes, 24 people with cheese. Bailey, of all things people like putting on hamburgers. Now I know you're a little bit different when it comes to food, but what do you like putting on hamburgers, and what do you think is on the top?
Pickles.
Pickles. It's a good answer. Pickles. Is pickles up on the pickles are up on the board? Nice. No, Doug. Of 100 people surveyed, what do people love putting on hamburgers?
Onions.
Onions. Up on the board. Is it up on the board? Onions is up on the board. Clark, of 100 people surveyed, what do people love putting on hamburgers?
Mayo.
Mayonnaise. Good answer. Mayonnaise. 3 people. Jamie, of 100 people asked question. What?
Mustard.
Mustard. Good answer. Oh, Karen, it's down to you. No X's yet, though. One last one. What do people love putting on hamburgers? Relish. Is it up on the board? Oh, it's not up on the board. Oh, no. Bailey, it's going to be tough, Bailey. Bailey, what do people love putting on hamburgers? Summer's...
Lettuce.
A little vegetable on there. Up on the board? No. Doug, you get this wrong, they get a chance to steal. Over here, Deacons get a chance to steal.
How about a hamburger?
A hamburger? You think a hamburger?
Yeah, a hamburger on a hamburger.
They were putting the meat on the... Yeah. It's meat up on the board. Oh, I'm sorry, Doug. We're passing it on. Okay, Creelmans, Deacons, jump in. What do you guys think?
We're going to go, Bob, with tomato.
Tomato. Good answer. Is it up on the board? Steel. So the points go over to the Creelmans. So to the Deacons. So left arrow up there by 92. Just hand that over to the And we've got Marilyn and Karen up on the competition here. Marilyn, you got your pig. You're good. Good. So buzz in on the next question here. The next question is this: give me a famous George. Karen, a famous George.
Washington?
George Washington. Is George up on the board? Good answer. George Washington, number 1. Wow. All right. Flowers again. You guys got to hold on to this time, though, the directors. Bailey, of course, is the director. What are you a director of, Bailey? You're a director of?
Prevention and protection.
Yes, one of the key new teams on our board, prevention and protection team. So what do you think is a famous George?
Michael.
Michael George. George Michael. Is that George Michael? Yeah, here we go. Is it up on the board? George Michael, yes. Doug. Who is
George Clooney.
George Clooney. Good answer. Good at George Clooney, yes. Clark, and you are a director of? Facilities, and you guys got something coming up next weekend, don't you? When's that coming up?
On the 11th, we have a work day.
11th, a work day, yeah. It's a Saturday, so go ahead. What do you think is a famous George?
I'm drawing a blank.
Oh, we got to have a
George
attempt.
Bush.
George Bush, good answer. Oh, good answer. Jamie, 2 remaining up there. I know there's another 2 famous Georges. Jamie, who do you think is a famous George?
George of the Jungle.
George of the Jungle. Good answer. Good answer. We got to crank up the PC a little bit. If you just see that slider with PC, we got to hear the X's. All right, George. Karen, you can tell us what you direct as far as the directors, because you're the one that keeps us. As a director, what do you do?
I'm the church clerk.
Karen is the church clerk and the best minutes person. No offense to anybody that's done minutes for directors, but the best minutes going. All right, who do you think is a famous George?
Curious George?
Curious George, good answer. Yes, number 2. Bailey.
I don't remember his last name.
Uh-oh.
Harrison.
George Harrison, and for the win. Oh, no George. Oh, if you don't get this, Doug, the director of finance.
2 in a row.
Yeah, Doug, who's a famous George? Oh, you get audience answers. Call a friend.
George Lucas.
George Lucas, this is up on the board. If not, the Deacons have a chance to steal. And she's going back to press the X. Maybe. George Lucas. Nah, sorry. All right, Deacons, you have a chance to steal again. Who are we going with, Marilyn?
King George.
King George. Is it up on the board? Oh, wait, there's no X. There's no, sorry. Sorry. So the points go to the Flowers. Yay. And the directors. Sorry, it wasn't up on the board. And number 5 is? George Foreman. Oh, George Foreman. Yeah, in unison, the audience goes George Foreman. All right. Next question. We got Bailey up against Nadine. Whoa. All right. Squeak in after I finish reading the question. Name a type of cheese. Bailey, type of cheese. Swiss cheese. Is it up on the board? Good answer. Number 2, Nadine, you have a chance to steal this. Famous cheese. Cheddar cheese.
Did I need to?
Nah, look at that. You got it. Nice. All right, Nadine, you're going to pass it on to Jim here. Jim, name a famous cheese. Get the microphone there, Jim. Grab the microphone. Yeah. Name a famous cheese.
Mozzarella.
Pizza cheese. Yes. All right, Brock, name a famous cheese.
Gouda.
Gouda. It's a Gouda cheese. Yes. David, name a famous cheese.
Eden.
What?
There's Eden.
Eden cheese?
Adam? I'm not getting this.
Eden, yeah, is it up on the board? No. No. Just popular American cheeses. Marilyn, what do you think? Famous cheese?
I'm going to try goat cheese.
Goat cheese. Goat cheese. I love goat cheese. Goat cheese is on the board. No. All right, last chance, or it's going for a steal. Nadine, think of a cheese. Think of a cheese.
Cottage cheese.
Cottage cheese. This is up on the board. Oh, all right. Over here with the directors. Jamie, you guys deliberate.
Feta? What cheese? Feta? So which is it?
Parmesan.
Parmesan cheese. Is it up on the board for the steal? Good answer. No. All right, the points go to the Deacons. 73 up on the board. And the number 4 answer is, or number, I guess go 7, eh? Number 7 answer is. No, the Creelmans, or the Deacons. The Creelman Deacons. Yeah, all the points. They get all the points. I know you're not the generation that watch Family Feud, but you get all the points. They're all 73 points. There you go. Yeah. So number 7 answer is feta. You guys, feta. Number 5, brie. American cheese. That would have been, that's a Canadian game, not American game. All right, next question. We got Doug. We've got Jim. Doug and Jim. Next question. Name something, Jim, you might find in a girl's makeup bag. Doug.
The world.
The world. Is the world up on the board? No. Jim, name something. Lipstick. Oh, Deacons, you get to take it from here. Number 1 answer, Brock. Name something you might find in Krista's makeup bag.
Foundation.
What?
Is that an X? No foundation? No. Okay, we're going to give you one more X. Yeah, we're going to give you one. All right. Nadine, name something. So only one X so far.
Mascara.
Mascara, good one. Marilyn, name something you might find in your makeup bag. Or anybody's.
Eyeliner.
Eyeliner, is it up on the board? Yeah. David. David, tell me something.
A little blush.
Blush is on the board. Jim, back to you. Name something you might find in Bonnie's makeup bag.
A comb.
Is comb up on the board? Okay, don't do the X though. Is it an X? No, it's just an X. No, I'm sorry, Jim, it's an X. One more chance or we go to steal. What's the 5th answer, Brock? All right, here we go.
I'm going to try lip gloss.
Lip gloss. Nice. And Marilyn, one more. Is it? Yeah. What else? Well, I might have to go. Okay, here we go. 2 seconds. 1. Go with the X. Sorry, too late. All right, go over here for a steal. What do you guys think? Steal? What do you guys think? What I love is the guys are really deliberating, and the girls are over the corner. I have no idea. All right, and the answer is up on the board.
Tweezers?
What are you going with?
We'll go with tweezers.
Tweezers. Is tweezers up on the board? If not, Deacons. It's an ant. All right. The points go over to the Deacons, and the answer is number 6. Makeup. Wake up. What? Makeup in a makeup bag. I guess that's what it is. All right. I think we have one more round, right? All right. Clark, Brock, give me the best excuse for not handing in homework. Brock.
The dog ate it.
The dog ate my homework. Nice. Oh, Jim, What's your best excuse that you came up with back in the day for homework?
I was too tired.
Too tired. Good answer. Is too tired up on the board? No. Marilyn, what's the reason I know you never had any excuses for homework, but if you knew of one, what would it be?
Forgot my book.
Forgot your book. You forgot something. Yeah? Forgot it at home. Good. Nadine, what was Dana's excuse for not doing his homework?
Had to plow a field.
Had to plow a field. So maybe had to do some work.
Work.
What? Work. And David, of all the students you've had in university, which was your favorite?
Did somebody
excuse?
say fall asleep?
Fall asleep. They fell asleep. Well, I know too tired was on the board, but fell asleep. I think that's an X.
No.
No. Okay. Let's go over here for the steal. Steal. You guys need this. So what's the question? The excuse for homework.
Computer crash.
The computer crashed. Says computer crashed up on the board. No. And points go over to the Deacons. Right? Now, what is number 6? Answer number 6 is? I was in the hospital. Yeah, that's good. Bobby's got that one tonight. Yeah. I did not do it. Yeah. Number 4, lost it. Number 2, sick. Oh. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we now know who are the top director/deacon. Deacons, you have won and crushed the directors, which means you guys are the first annual Family Feud KBC champions. On to 2024, Jamie.
That's going to take me a little while to recover from that. Thanks.
It was very close.
It was fun. Thanks, Brian, for coordinating that for us, and Kristen for the technical expertise. So the last portion of our meeting, we're going to look at the April 2024 ministry update. Thanks again for Heather for sending those out last Monday. And ask both Pastor Brian and Kristen to give us a brief verbal update of the ministry thus far in 2024 and what they see for the continuing year. We'll ask Brian to come up first.
Well, 2024 has been highlighted by Family Feud for sure. But for me, again, we're on that idea of complaint to blessing. As a church, I do feel like we have been greatly blessed by God, no matter the journey that we've been on. And as we enter into this kind of 2024 season, 2025 season, I don't know if you guys know, but what do you guys feel is next year for us as a church? Our 40th anniversary. Would it not be? 1985? 2025?
Wow.
All right, good. I'm glad I'm the only one that knew. Actually, Kristen's the one that highlighted that. So the one that's been here the least amount of time has been able to figure out, yes, next year's our 40th anniversary. Again, it's a 40-year journey as a church. And you know, biblically, 40 years is a pretty powerful number. And so as we kind of enter into that, yes, Wayne, you are that old, because Wayne would be one of those guys that was back at Lakeville. Was it Lakeville? Lakefield Elementary. So going back, but again, in 40 years, there's bound to be times where you find yourselves in a season of complaint. Exodus chapter 16, verse 35, this is what God again responds with as the Lord commanded Moses, Aaron, put the manna in front of the testimony that it might be kept. And here's, the Israelites ate manna 40 years until they came to the land they'd settled. They ate manna until they reached the border of Canaan. For 40 years, God sustained them. So the question is, do you remember that time, 1985 till 2025? 40 years, recognizing that this whole journey has been sustained by God. So what does the next 40 years look like is the question we need to begin to answer in this season of 2024. Here's what I believe. a church that is led with the community in mind. One of the greatest statements that I've heard about a church is that if a church dies, would the community miss it? And my prayer is that, first of all, we don't, but if the answer to that question is absolutely, we would be missed. And so there's opportunities for us first to begin to, as a community of believers within the church, really enjoy opportunities like this, like Family Feud, like Cinco de Mayo, May 5th, our nacho average Sunday, May 5th. I just desire that we as a community continue to build being a fun place to be, including Mother's Day. I've already got the Mother's Day gifts picked out and they're on order. They're going to be here. Mother's Day. Community events like this, our neighboring Sunday, so our 12 Neighbors Sunday, which is the Outflow Sunday. Outflow is going to be taking over the service and then having a luncheon afterwards. You'll hear more information about that over the next little while. And then Grads and Dads and Barbecue Sunday on June 16th. Bolivia Send-Off on June 23rd. And just the continued desire to grow community here at our church. God's been doing it for 40 years, and we're going to continue this journey through the rest of 2024 into what would be our 40th anniversary year of 2025. So I just pray that my annual report kind of finds you in a place where you're excited about this journey with me too. All right? So that's my report for 2024.
Thank you, Brian. Any questions for Brian? Thank you again, Brian, for your leadership in ministry. Pastor Kristen, we'll have you come up as well.
Well, I only know that KBC turns 40 next year because I turn 40 next year. That's the only reason I figured that out. So 2024 has been a fantastic year already with baptisms and our Next Gen Sunday and just the relationships that I'm building with the students and the leaders. It's hitting that mark now, which is awesome. But I'm really excited for 2024 and to build more on the connecting points part of my position. And, this Sunday, is it this Sunday? Yeah, this Sunday is our first Connect Sunday where we're inviting those who have been new within the last year to KBC just to come formally meet Brian and myself if they haven't met us, because Sunday mornings can be a little crazy at times to meet everybody. And they'll also be given a book, and it will be available to anybody else who would like it, a Connect KBC or KBC Connect book, which will highlight what KBC is all about. And for those of you who might have gotten my email and might not yet have responded, it also highlights who the team leads are from KBC. So if you haven't responded to my email and sent me a picture, you might want to, or I will just go on I already got yours, Carolyn. I creeped you on Facebook and I stole one. I did. It's really good. But some of you don't have that, so make sure if you haven't done that, see me before you leave, and I'll take your picture tonight. But this is just a way for us to know, even as KBCers, to know who is leading what. And if we want to be involved, so if you are feeling so led through Brian's sermon at some point, and you're like, no, I really want to step up and I really want to serve. Oh man, who do I talk to? Well, you're going to open that Connect KBC book and you're going to see Alicia's face. Alicia's the team lead for young adults. Or Sandy Dunnett is the team lead for protection and prevention. So those are the people that you're going to see, and you're going to see them on a Sunday morning like, that's the person I need to go talk to. Now I know what they look like. So it's giving sometimes a face to a name so that you just know who that person is to talk to. So I'm excited about that. We're going to try and do it every couple months, maybe three times a year for those new people that have been coming out to KBC. So that's a good way to start our connecting ministry and build it from where it has been to where it can be. And I'm going to talk more about this on Sunday, but just to highlight the training day that's coming up September 14th. This will be a Saturday from 9 until 3, a day you want to be at, not a day that you want to miss. It will be fantastic. But you have to come out Sunday morning to hear more about that. So those are the two areas of the connecting part of my position that I'm really excited about and really focused on this season, and I'm really excited about it and the growth that KBC is going to have because we're more connected and we're falling more in love with Jesus as we do that. And for Next Gen, summer camp, registration opened today. I didn't look to see what happened with it, but registration opened today. And we hired 9 students this summer, which is really exciting. It's a huge leap of faith. We hired 5 full-time, 4 part-time, and I am so excited for what God's going to do. I see this ministry, for myself, the ministry for me is within the leaders, within the staff, and then the staff's ministry is those students. So I'm really excited to see the growth and to pour into the staff this summer and build up their leadership skills and their relationship with Jesus. Also, again, our soccer ministry is going to start in a couple weeks, a month. I don't know how many days that is. But also the potential of going beyond soccer and potentially doing something in the fall in the gym. So the ministries are growing and changing, which is exciting and fantastic. And so, yeah, that's kind of where my areas are right now.
Well, exciting updates. Thank you so much. Are there questions that anyone has for Pastor Kristen?
Yes, Shirley. Can I? Probably. Can we put the booklet online? Brian says yes, so yes. I don't know. I don't know how to do that stuff as well as Brian. But yes, we can, once it's all polished up and ready to go, yeah, we'll definitely put that up.
Another question, Janet, maybe?
Janet. A directory? We can print one off at any time for anybody. Well, come May 5th, right? Are we going to do that May 5th? Everybody come May 5th. We're going to take your picture, update it into Planning Center, and then we can print them from there with everybody's updated picture, because we all have changed a little. So we'll get fresh pictures from everybody May 5th. Another good reason to come out. I have no idea. Is that really actually happening, that part? Okay. I just put them on the spot there. I don't know. Any other questions?
Well, thank you, Pastor Kristen. Again, we very much appreciate both your ministry leadership here at KBC. Doug, a brief update on finances for 2024, which would include, I believe you're bringing before us a motion for the external reviewer for this coming year.
And so I don't forget that, I would move that we engage Curry and Betts once again to be the external reviewers of our 2024 financial position.
So Doug has moved that. Is there a seconder? Hartley? So the motion is that Curry and Betts be engaged as the accounting firm to conduct the review for KBC for the calendar year 2024. Are there any questions regarding the motion before us? All in favor say aye. Any opposed say nay. Motion's carried. Thank you for that motion, Doug. And brief update on 2024.
To the end of March, our revenues are a little over 87,000. Multiply that by 4, and you've got around 360,000 projected for the year. We passed for a balanced budget of around 391, I believe it was. So we have some work to do. February had above our monthly requirement. January and March didn't. We had unusual expenses, Jimmy Gears did, in March of $52,000, which left us with 27,700 and something. But that was because of 3 pays, some major building maintenance, inspections, maintenance, quarterly missions checks out to convention, Canadian Baptist Ministries, that type of thing. Plus the insurance was due in March. So, bit scary, but not unusual when I look back at previous years. The other number that I think you need to know about is related to our designated funds, and this was part of Bobby's package that would have come out, so you can go look at the detail. But we started 2023 with $108,000 plus, and here's the biggie: receipts $154,400 of giving to designated destinations. That's not our money. Okay, so there's 158 on top of our revenue for last year of about 419. Now, about 70,000 of that 158 was money that people gave us in trust to hold for refugee families. Okay, so that still leaves somewhere around $75,000 or so that we gave to designated ministries outside the church. We dispersed $147,400, and that still leaves a balance of $117,700 in designated funds. That money rests in our checking account. Okay? Our checking account only has about $85,000 in it now. See where I'm going? So the $85,000 in checking is really money that we've borrowed interest-free from the designated giving. So if the government ever passed legislation that says designated money's got to rest in its own separate account, then, and I've cleared this with the accountants, what we're doing is perfectly fine. But the chances of somebody showing up and wanting that full 117,000 this Friday is very remote. So just, that's the kind of money that Bobby, she's not just tracking what we're giving to KBC Inc. She's tracking what's being given to, looks like about 24 different places. Okay? Any questions?
Any questions for Doug on KBC Finances 2024? Thank you very much, Doug, and we absolutely appreciate the work of the finance team and Bobby for the work that you do. So thank you very much.
Bobby's the workhorse. To the tune of about 20 hours a week. Okay? That's worth a lot of money to us.
Thank you again, Doug. Special business for this evening. Special business in that it's not abnormal, but it's not something that we would see every March or April business meeting. And it's a motion from our nominating team. And my understanding that either Lisa, Marilyn, or Hartley will be making this motion, but I'll read the motion for you as it's showing on the screen. Thanks for putting it on the screen. So one of them are going to move that on behalf of the nominating team, the appointment of the following nominees. So you'll see the names there. Clark Davis to the board, and he is the facilities director. Nadine Nyborg to the board, and she is the deacons ministry director. Patrick O'Neill also to the board as the discipleship ministry director. Bailey Carr to the board as the general director. And a footnote, not part of the motion per se, but she's the board rep to our prevention and protection team. So such a key role, and thank you, Bailey, for taking that on. Dale Haynes to facilities team, and Mary Snodgrass to the Discipleship Ministries team. So who of those three are making that motion? Hartley, thank you. And do we have a seconder for that motion? Bonnie? So we have a first and seconder to the motion that's showing there. Are there any questions, or have we lost any of you in the lengthy motion? Those teams, the board, the facilities team, discipleship ministry team, are teams that the membership has the authority or direction to approve members going on to those teams. Some other teams at the board can approve the selection, the nominees on your behalf, but these are the ones that require your authorization. So we have the motion before us. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion's carried. And thank you to the nominating team. Part of the April 2024 Ministry Update Report, if you had a chance to look at it, it's an Excel spreadsheet, multicolored, but it lists the various teams that we have at KBC. And I'm highlighting it as an invitation over the next number of days or weeks to take a look at that and to give prayerful support to those that are volunteering and leading a ministry in those various teams. But there's also the yellow boxes that are currently vacant, and ask that you'd give consideration that perhaps that may be an area of ministry that God is calling you to minister in. So thank you for the nominating team for your leadership and identifying different nominees to those areas. So we've covered what I had jotted down on the agenda for the April 2024 ministry update. Have I missed anything, or are there any questions that you have on that 2024 ministry update report? Any questions on that? So again, I want to thank you to all that contributed to that report, those that are volunteering in ministry. That April 2024 ministry update report has been received and will be placed on file. So that's everything that I jotted down. Any last things that we should mention here this evening before we adjourn? Thank you very much for your attention, and I'll ask for a motion.
I only wanted to again thank the congregation for the wonderful shower that was given to Ben and Emma yesterday. It was just such a lovely time, and they deeply appreciated it, and we were really warm and so grateful to KBC as a whole. Sorry, thank you.
Thank you, David. If anyone online wasn't hearing that, a thank you to the congregation from Ben and Emma for the shower that was held here yesterday. So that was a great event. I'll ask for a motion to adjourn our meeting. Jim, and a seconder? I can't see behind the heads. Jim. And all in favor say aye. Motion is adjourned. Thank you very much, everyone.